Good morning, everyone. My name is Steve Onishi, and I'll be your chairperson for this morning's service. It's great to see everybody here. It feels weird. To be honest, it feels weird to be in here, but very happy to be here. I was fortunate to go to one or two services recently, and it's just a world of difference between YouTube and in person. It feels really good. So I appreciate you all coming out this morning. We'll start this morning's service with sutra chanting Sanbujo and Sanbutsuge. You'll find it in your Dharma school book. Thank you.
Obon Service. The members of the San Jose Buddhist Church have reverently come before me, the Buddha, with deepest reverence and gratitude for the all-embracing wisdom and compassion of Amida. We reaffirm the three hommages. I go to the Buddha for guidance, I go to the Dharma for guidance, I go to the Sangha for guidance.
Next, we'll have Oshoko from the following groups. The Brownie Troop, Junior Troop, Boy Scout Troop 611, Lotus Preschool, San Jose Dharma School, the Buddhist Women's Association, the San Jose Betsuin, Thank you to all the representatives. Next, we'll have three treasures led by Rinban Sakamoto.
Will you please rise for the reading of the three treasures, which is on page 8 in this large service book. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not realize the truth in this life, when will it be realized? Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we absorb ourselves in the principle of the way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves the supreme will. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we be submerged in the depths of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we live in harmony in the great assembly as disciples of Buddha and be freed from all hindrances, becoming units of true accord in the life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriad ages of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda, Namanda. Thank you. Please be seated. We're very happy to have with us Reverend Mikame's parents, who arrived last Monday after a 27-hour journey from their home in Shimane. As I understand, they traveled from Shimane to Hiroshima, then to Narita, or was there another stop in there? And then from Narita to Honolulu, which is okay, but, and then from Honolulu here to San Jose, and they will return on that route. It is a long journey, and we're happy to have them with them this morning. I'd like to introduce the Jushoku of Tokuzenji and Reverend Mikame and Mrs. Mikame. Dozo. He's laughing because we've been hanging out. Thank you. So if you welcome Reverend and Mrs. Tokuno, Reverend Mrs. Miyagi.
Good morning, everyone. Far away from Japan. We took about 27 hours. With a long journey. It's our pleasure to be here today. I wanted to know where and how she lived in San Jose. But we really satisfied. Thanks to all of you, she can live happily. So we became happy today. Thank you very much.
You can see where Sensei's English skills come from. She is not unfamiliar with the language. Her parents are both, have had a close association with the English language for a very long time. But again, thank you very much for being here this morning. Today, I'm going to take this mask off because I can't see through it. It's nice. It's really it's a spit guard, basically. It doesn't really help so much with blocking out any virus or anything. But it's good to see all of you here this morning. We've been having more of these services during the summer, having the opportunity to gather together. And especially last week and with our Obon Festival, so many people that I met were happy to be back here in the Hondo, or happy to be participating and joining again in our Obon Festival. And I want to thank everybody for all the hard work that you put in to make that possible. And the Obon Festival, of course, is connected to this Obon service. Sometimes we see the Obon Festival, and it's almost the main thing, and the Obon service is kind of secondary to that. But of course, as all of us know, the Obon Festival comes from this Obon service, or the story of Moggallana and his experience with Shakyamuni Buddha, and the story that comes out of Moggallana's when he went to seek his mother after her death, how he saw her in this realm of hungry ghosts, and was able to, through the instructions of Shakyamuni Buddha, was able to help her out of that realm of hungry ghosts. I always tell, when I get a chance to tell this story to our Scout students for their Sangha and Padma Award, that the beings of this realm of hungry ghosts have extended bellies, and they're of course they're not photos of these beings, but the way that the creatures of this realm of hungry ghosts are described or depicted in these mandalas, they have extended bellies and narrow necks, and everything that they touch bursts into flame. So they can't satisfy their hunger. And Moggallana saw his mother in this realm of hungry ghosts. And if you get a chance, take a look at yesterday's Hatsubon service. Mikame Sensei does a wonderful job describing why Moggallana's mom was there in the realm of hungry ghosts. And basically it was because of her desire to help her son that brought her to that realm of hungry ghosts. That's the Cliff Notes version of it. So go to see the Hatsubon service from yesterday and take a look at that YouTube video. But as we gathered together last week for our Obon Festival, that Obon Festival is also called Gathering of Joy. And we come together as a community, as friends and family, remembering individuals who have had an important part in our lives, who have contributed to our well-being, to our upbringing, whose relationship continues to be a part of our lives. And in acknowledging that, we also acknowledge the deep connection that we share with the world around us. My kind of take on the Obon story is more of community service rather than just a simple Buddhist service that we reflect upon, or Buddhist story that we reflect upon in our own lives. It hopefully kind of gets us to move out into the community. Shakyamuni Buddha's instructions to Moggallana was to do something for his fellow Sangha members, to move out into the community, not to go deeper into meditation or practice, but rather do something. And in doing something for community, he was able to release his mother from this realm of hungry ghosts. How we understand these 6 realms of existence, these various realms, whether it's something that we have to avoid in some traditions of Buddhism, you practice so you don't fall into the hell, or you practice so that you rise up into that realm of heavenly beings. But in Jodo Shinshu, we understand that it's not necessary for us to be concerned about that. We are already assured, as we are, of the resolution of difficulties, that there is really nothing that we need do, but to understand how much our lives are the result of other lives, that we don't exist alone, that we are a part of the life that supports and nurtures us and cares for us. And that extended infinitely, infinite life is infinite compassion. Infinite light is infinite wisdom. These are the two characteristics, the central components of enlightenment, wisdom and compassion. And it is the two attributes of Amida Buddha. And when you look at the statue of Amida Buddha, you can see one raised hand and one lower hand. And these are mudras that represent wisdom and compassion. And that compassion, again, extends infinitely to all beings, and not just for those who agree or those who we like, but it extends to all beings, regardless of whether good or bad. Those kinds of considerations are unnecessary. But when we feel that, or when we recognize and acknowledge this compassion that that I am contained within, that assures me of the resolution of difficulties, I can look more openly at my limitations. I don't have to be striving to do something, striving to make myself better, or striving to attain enlightenment. But rather, I recognize, or I am able to see more clearly my limitations, and I am all the more grateful for the assurance of Amida Buddha, that the life around me supports me, sustains me, moves me towards the resolution of difficulties. For me, it took me a long time to figure out that, Jodo Shinshu is Buddhism, right? It took me a long time to figure out what the connection was between Jodo Shinshu and Buddhism. I mean, it seems apparent. We have a Buddha in the middle of our Onaijing. We have similar attire to other schools of Buddhism. And we have words that repeat the same words of other traditions. So it must be Buddhist, right? I mean, how would we be otherwise? But the connection between Jodo Shinshu, would seem to say that we go to the Pure Land because of the assurance of Amida Buddha. There is no practice, there is nothing that I need do. That in this life, while I am experiencing this life in samsara, birth and death, what is it that I'm supposed to do? What is the connection between Buddhism, who prescribes practices to attain enlightenment, and Jodo Shinshu, that simply says, sono mama, as you are, be born into the Pure Land. And I think the focus has been that at the end of this process, or at the end of this journey, is enlightenment, so that I get to experience enlightenment. But somehow there was something missing, that somehow there was a connection with what I am in this moment. And I think Buddhism is trying to have us kind of consider that, to think about who we are, our relationship to the world around us, to cultivate a mind that is able to see things as they are. And I think for me, the connection became that assurance of Amida Buddha allows me to see myself as I am. See myself with all my limitations, my unmet expectations of myself, my inconsistency and limitations, that's beginning to see. Not in terms of I'm a good person or bad person, but that I am able to see myself as I am. And then the word, ministers used to say, sono mama, as you are. That assurance of Amida Buddha that provides for the enlightenment of all beings is an assurance that allows me to begin to see things as they are. in my discussions with others, or I may get into arguments with somebody else, but then I also understand that I may not be I may not be able to understand what the other person is saying. Understand that experience, that person's life. And I may be only thinking about what I am, what's important to me. And it may be difficult to engage in a meaningful conversation with someone whose views may be different from mine. But that assurance allows me to see that. Not only allows me to see my convictions, but also the limitations of those convictions. And that the disappointment or anger that I may experience when I encounter opposition to those thoughts that are so important to me, I kind of quiet it. If I respond in anger, then anger will simply be the response. If I am able to, as best I can, quiet that anger, then there's opportunity for dialogue, conversation. In this 6 realms of existence, this mandala that depicts the realm of hungry ghosts, the pretas that Moggallana found his mother in. The 6 realms of existence are hells at the very bottom, and there are different ways that this is drawn, but usually it's in a circle. And at the very bottom is this realm of hells. Not just hot hells, but cold hells, lukewarm hells, various kinds of hells. And then there's the realm of hungry ghosts, and then the realms of animals, then humans, fighting spirits, and then realm of heavenly beings. But at the hub of this 6 realms of existence are the 3 poisons: anger, greed, ignorance. These are the things that keep us bound to this realm of hungry ghosts, bound to this 6 realms of existence. And on a day-to-day basis, we might find ourselves in different places on this wheel. We might find ourselves very satisfied and happy, and then the next day or next moment, we might find ourselves in the realm of hungry ghosts, unable to satisfy what we want or what we think we should have. The assurance of Amida Buddha allows me to see myself as I am. The teachings of the Buddha are not about avoiding hells and becoming a heavenly being. It is to get off this mandala, get out of this 6 realms of existence. To see my anger, my ignorance, my greed, allows me to begin to see things as they are. This is what the 4th of the Four Noble Truths points to. These are the practices that we cultivate so that we can begin to have a mind that simply sees things as they are. Not indifferent, not dispassionate, but simply beginning to recognize my own, who I am. To begin to recognize the limitations that I have, the inconsistencies that I have. Jodo Shinshu is certainly a school of Buddhism. It has been around for 800 years as a Buddhist tradition. And we certainly have all of the accoutrements that would seem to indicate that it is a Buddhist tradition. But until I recognize or I understand how it is connected to Buddhism, it is a wonderful tradition that we can follow. And that perhaps in some time we will also be able to recognize the importance of Amida Buddha's vow and respond with a sense of gratitude and appreciation and simply recite the Nembutsu. There is a song in the new Gata book. It's called Obon no Uta. And I would venture to sing it, but I won't. It goes, Obon, my arms are getting shorter. Obon, tombo ni, tombo, tombo ni notte, haru baru to, ojodo kara no okyaku sama, ichinen buri no okyaku sama. So riding on the dragonfly, guests are coming from faraway Pure Land. It's the yearly visit of our guests, dragonfly, dragonfly, red dragonfly, lighting the bonfires and paper lanterns. We'll all go out to meet our guests. This was, I think it's composed by Takeko Kujo, is that right? And music by S. Fuji, but arranged by Yumi Hojo. So Mrs. Hojo did the arrangement on this gata. The dragonflies, or guests returning from Jodo, we think about our relationship with these family members and friends, especially at this time of Obon. We realize how deeply indebted we are. Again, being able to see ourselves as we are. We don't exist alone, but rather through these many relationships, we make our lives possible. And in gratitude and appreciation, we simply respond and say, Namo Amida Butsu. Today, for this Obon service, we are indeed grateful that we can once again return to the Hondo and participate in person in these services. Grateful for the safety. I know some are experiencing health issues because of COVID, and some people are being inconvenienced because of COVID, but we are able to still gather together, taking precautions, gather together as we do today for this year's Obon service. It is wonderful to see all of you here in the Hondo today. As we conclude, not conclude, but will you please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Rinban. Just reminded me, so Rinban was introducing Mikame Sensei's parents, and he made a comment about their English was so good and how they grew up with English. It reminded me of the story that it was a few years ago. We actually hosted, we had a program with the BCA where we hosted some incoming new ministers from Japan. And so we actually housed them in the little cottage across the street. And so one evening, one of the other guys and I took the new minister out to dinner. And we took him, and I was a little apprehensive, like, I don't know Japanese, right? So I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to speak with this guy. But we took him out to dinner, and his English was impeccable. It was incredible, right? It was totally surprising. And I said, Sensei, how did you learn to speak English so well? And he goes, I used to watch Friends. You never know, it's crazy. But yeah, we're so lucky that people speak English around the world. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank some people who participated in today's service. Obviously, Rinban Sakamoto, Mikame Sensei 1, and Mikame Sensei 2. Our minister assistants, Michael Jones Dennis Akizuki, and Sumi Tanabe, and our accompanist, Mrs. Elaine Jones. And something that's a little special here, we've started doing this now, so hopefully you all know that we broadcast these services on YouTube. So we have people assisting with that. So today, Paul Endo is over there running the controls for our service today. At this point, I believe that will end our service. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yes, I'm sorry, announcements, yeah. It's been so long since we had service, I forgot all this stuff, yeah.
Hi, I'm Karen Akimoto, and today I'm here for Eco Sangha. I want to let you know that our sock drive has been a huge success. We've filled more than 12 bags of these socks that I mailed in. Each bag has about 50 socks, individual socks, weighs about 2.5 pounds. So we've sent in like 500 socks or 600 socks and about 30 pounds worth of socks. And today we picked up another bin full, so thank you. You know, it's keeping socks out of the landfill, so thanks very much.
Thank you, Karen. Yeah, so hopefully you all tune in. Occasionally, the VWA does all these kinds of special drives and things. It's really fantastic. At this point, are there any other announcements? If not, this will conclude this morning's service. Please feel free to come forward for Oshoko. Thank you, everyone.
Maybe Steve announced next door.
Oh, you want me to say something? Okay, one other announcement. I just got the nudge. So actually, right after this service, if you'd like to join us, we're having a small reception in the multipurpose room to welcome Mikame Sensei's parents here. Give them an opportunity to meet you. So if you'd like to join us, please feel free. Thank you.